meet the criteria as set out in the law, namely that the presidential candidate is at least 40 years of age, that he or she has satisfied all tax obligations, and that he or she has nominated a vice presidential candidate, among others. The second team, that is the IT team, has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing all the voter ID cards of the presidential candidates and their supporters to verify whether the candidates and their supporters are indeed registered voters. Both teams have been provided adequate training and orientation to carry out their functions as prescribed by law. The guiding principle for both teams is clear. They are to operate within the confines of the law. They are not to exercise discretion in the matter.
Let me these are letters from my party nominating me as a candidate, and also the payment. In here are the 16 regions and the signatories for the districts of each of the 16 regions and the regional voting. So far, the work that you have done has given considerable confidence to the majority of people in our country that in you and in the leadership of the Electoral Commission, we have people who are committed to a free, fair, credible, and transparent process. We hope that that will mark the conduct of the elections of 7th December. I am not interested in any crooked result. I do not want to be a president elected by deceit. I look forward to a contest that will be fairly conducted, so that if indeed by the grace of the Almighty I am again the choice of the Ghanaian people, it will be one that has been freely and openly demonstrated.
So a key event just took place. The president completed or successfully filed his nomination forms. Well, that's until it's actually approved by the EC, but he has presented his nomination forms, apparently satisfied all requirements. The forms being presented in quadruplicate, that's 4. Now he was supported by some key members of his party. Now that is his official car standing by before he actually, exits the facility or the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. Now he happens to be the very first of the major political aspirants or presidential candidate of the major political parties to actually file his form. Now he is making his way to his official car.
I don't think there's any, unless you have some kind of hidden agenda, I don't think anybody can doubt the fairness of the processes that have so far been exhibited. We are all witnesses to the process, and I think that all serious-minded Ghanaians are clear in their mind that they are witnessing a fair process. There are some who are investing in trying to discredit the process for their own sectarian ends. I'm not one of them.
The president has left the premises, but apparently, the supporters, please, come over. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine.
What's your name?
Yes, Efe.
Yes, what?
Efe.
Efe. Now, you're here to support the president, yeah?
Yes.
How did you find the whole process, the excitement around?
Oh, it's very great and wonderful. Okay. We are all happy.
So you are confident? You are confident that yes, he's taking the
4 more. That's why we are all saying 4 more for Nana. 4 more to do more for us. Okay.
Now, in the period of COVID, they asked that no, supporters should come, but you have made your way here. Why?
Oh no, we are. As you can see, we are observing the protocol, so we are okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
4 more for Nana. 4 more to do more. Right. We are moving forward. NDC, dead and gone forever.
I'm seeing one gentleman here. He's on his Okada. Senior, Charlie, how are you?
Yeah, cool.
I mean, on your Okada, yeah?
Yeah, I'm an Okada man.
Nice one. Now, I mean, a lot of Okada people, you know, are saying that. I mean, they are pulling their support for the candidate of the NDC because of his policy. What do you make of it?
It's a shame. It's a shame, serious shame, because Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia are saying that when they come power, they will buy car for us, then and pay. Because of John Muhammad said that they were legalizing the Okada for us. It's a shame. Yeah. That's why he said you'll build the merchant. Because the other Okada people, if the car, we get the car accidents, then we put us in the merchant. It's a shame. Yes.
Okay, so you are willing to stop your Okada business to get the car that the vice president promised?
The Okada people, they are not illiterate. Every Okada people don't have the chance to get the office. That was the person riding the Okada. So we are not illiterate. So you, John Muhammad, you want to take us like illiterate? Okay. We are not illiterate. Okay. So we, the Okada people, we support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, what they're saying, and Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. So we are supporting him.
So you are willing to put your Okada down for the car they are promising?
Yes, for sure.
So the president of the land, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, just filed his nominations, and he just walked out of the headquarters of the EC. But there were some, issues that were raised. He raised some objections. I want to speak to my colleague Sixtus Dong Ulo to just tell me what the process has been so far.
Well, so far so good. The president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is the second to submit the nominations today. But the difference here is that his nomination hasn't been accepted yet. The commission has announced that it has set up 2 separate teams to vet the documents that have been submitted in support of the president's nomination. So it is upon the vetting of these particular documents that the EC chairperson, who is the returning officer for this particular process, would then confirm the nomination of the president for the December 2020 elections. But as you can see, we're not expecting this many people because of the restrictions, COVID-19 restrictions. We're expecting initially, the commission communicated that they were going to have just 5 people from each political party supporting the candidate. But this is obviously above the rule.
All right, well, that's my colleague Sixtus Don Ulo, just giving us an idea of what happened today and what we should expect in the coming days. Earlier on today, former independent presidential candidate Joseph Osei came through to file his nomination forms. However, he did reveal that he will not be putting himself forward as the main presidential candidate, but will rather be supporting one Alfred Walker as his running mate.
A lot of people think that I will be running as a presidential candidate. I have actually taken the position of a running mate. And then we've just decided Mr. Alfred Kwame Walker will be taking the presidential slot, and I will take his running mate. That is what we've actually presented to the Electoral Commission. And Walker is Mr. Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker. He's the one that, and then I will be taking the second position. We just want to demonstrate to Ghanaians and all of us is that leadership is about influence. Leadership is not about struggle. Leadership is about serving the people. Leadership is about recognizing the fact that the others too also have the potential. And so I have run for twice as presidential candidate, and for that matter, as independent aspirants. We came together and said that let's make Alfred Kwame Walker, who was also an independent presidential candidate in 2016, but unfortunately, he couldn't qualify. And so we all team up, and he is going to be the presidential candidate.
Now, outside of the filing of nomination forms by the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party and former independent candidate Joseph Osei, some other smaller parties came through to file their nomination forms. Let's have a wrap of that.
Oh, in actual sense, I know definitely I'm going to win. I'm going to remove MPP and NDC. They are not going to come to power again because they are destroying our country.
What makes you have this conviction?
Then because of the work that I've done, and the youth of Ghana too are suffering, and the test is there for everybody to see that most of the people they are in trouble. That we need to save this very country. You see, the elites thought maybe those who are who have gone to university, they have a class, they have lawyers, and the others they have to come in the political scene, and that is the mistake that they are doing. And one day, we are going to prove to them that they are going to fall, and we are going to rise. Because you see, during the Nkrumah's era, that is what happened to Nkrumah. They thought Nkrumah would not be able to come to power because they have lawyers, they have judges, and they have these university graduates and the others. But Nkrumah won because the youth were looking for Nkrumah to come. That is what is happening nowadays.
Are you looking for Gum?
Oh yes, looking for Gum. Definitely, Gum will come to power.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. Let's now bring you a report on the role that smaller political parties in Ghana will be playing in this year's general elections.
Although Ghana practices a multi-party system of democracy, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the New Patriotic Party, NPP, have over the past 3 decades completely dominated both the presidential and parliamentary elections, leaving the crumbs for the remaining parties. In election 2000, for instance, the NDC and the NPP accounted for as many as 92% of the total votes cast in the first round of the elections alone. In 2008, the situation worsened for the smaller parties as the NPP and the NDC shared over 96% of the total votes cast among them. In the last general elections in 2016, 5 smaller parties contested the elections, but altogether they pooled less than 2% of the votes. Professor Ransford Jampo is a political scientist and a lecturer at the University of Ghana, and he's been speaking on this trend and its implication on Ghana's democracy.
Once people hold on to one political party, it is difficult for them to break ranks with that party to go support another party. It is our feature as a transitional or developing democracy. It got to certain times that we witnessed certain elections that could not be won without the support of some smaller political parties. But for some time now, it's becoming clear. I think 2012 elections, 2016 elections, and even some other previous elections show that the 2 main political parties won the elections without the support of the smaller political parties. It tells you that Ghana, gradually, technically speaking, is no longer a multi-party democracy. It's essentially becoming a 2-party state.
Per statistics from the Electoral Commission, EC, there are currently 29 registered political parties in the country, but Ghanaians have consistently voted for either the NPP or NDC. But will the status quo remain, or are we going to see a paradigm shift? Dr. Ali Duseidu is a political scientist, and he offers some answers.
There are several theories that explain voter behavior. The most common one that we use in Ghana is the dominant party model. So people vote because of party. So to the extent that if they put a more capable candidate on the ticket of a smaller party, and they put relatively an incompetent candidate on the ticket of a bigger party, people are likely going to vote for the bigger party candidate than the smaller, because they believe in the party strongly than they believe in the capacity of the individual who is leading. So because that is the case, and because the NDC and the NPP have so much broad-based support, people tend to vote for their parties regardless of who is there.
Despite the startling statistics, however, Professor Ransford Jampo believes Ghanaians are gradually losing interest in the 2 dominant political parties.
We are tired of the 2 main parties. We are tired of the parties that we even support. In fact, some would actually go out of their way to threaten that we won't vote. So I've interviewed voters who have said, I won't vote for my party, that is NDC, but I will not vote for MPP too. Some have threatened, I will not vote for my party, MPP, but I will not vote for the NDC too. Where will you vote? I will not even vote.
He further opines that the abysmal performance of third parties over the years has rendered them irrelevant.
The evidence shows that gradually they are becoming irrelevant in the attempt to win seats, at the presidency or the presidential election.
But the third parties have refuted these objections, insisting that Ghanaians will reject both the NDC and NPP due to their incompetence. Nanaya Jantua is the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, CPP, and she says a vote for any of these two parties will be a wasted one.
NPP and NDC is a wasted vote because we've tried them. They've come and gone, we've tried them. It is time for Ghanaians to try the Convention People's Party. The only reason why people would queue to go and vote because they want a change in their livelihood. And as it stands now, I believe that most Ghanaians want a change in their livelihood.
The National Democratic Party's General Secretary, Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, also believes his party will perform impressively in this year's elections.
So we are very, very much optimistic. Empirically, one cannot put a finger on how far you're going to be, but at least we want to attain close to 10%. Even though it's been a norm that the so-called smaller parties, we don't make it even to that total, but at least we are aiming at it.
For his part, Bernard Morner said he is optimistic that the PNC will win the 2020 general elections.
These political parties of MPP and NDC that has alternated political power, that today majority of Ghanaians cannot find job, is as a result of the failure of the NDC and MPP to think through policies that will work for our nation. They are auctioning Ghana for the highest bidder, and that is why our democracy is at this level. We think that 2020 the people of Ghana will reject the MPP for their poor record. As for the NDC, we don't envisage that they will come back.
But is this really the case? Are Ghanaians ready to vote in a third force to kick these dominant parties out?
For me, it's NDC, MPP, and that's it. Because the people who are telling you that, okay, we are tired of this one, they are the same people who go to vote for NDC, and they are the same people who go to vote for MPP. You understand? They follow this small party and they tell that, they say it's in Ghana or so the people feel that they have people following them. But at the end of the day, what happens? Nothing. They go back and vote for NDC. And somebody will tell you that, so his own constituency, where he voted, he got only one. What about his wife and children?
I would have loved to try out another party to see how they will handle things. But then as it stands, let's be serious over here. MPP and NDC are the only two driving forces when it comes to politics in Ghana. If I should vote another party, that would be a wasted vote. So, I don't think it's worth the risk of going to stay in line to vote at the risk of corona and all other things. And at the end of the day, whether I voted for MPP or I voted NDC, I get the same thing. So rather, I'll stay at home.
So far, for us, we the Ghanaians, to change our mentality, I think it's not now. It's going to take us for long because...
How long do you think?
Because the perception is very hard for these small parties or the new parties to take over.
Impact for Ghanaians. The others, I don't know. They can't do anything for us. They're just playing cricket. They want to get name cricket. That's all.
However, flag bearer of the All People's Congress, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, is urging voters to, in quote, waste their vote on the APC for real change.
The two major parties that have ruled against the minority parties always have this perception that when you vote for the minority parties, you will not win. You are wasting your vote. But one of our campaign messages this time around, we have printed T-shirt that says that hashtag waste your vote on Hassan Ayariga. That kind of campaign strategy is to tell Ghanaians that don't listen to the issue of Ghanaians telling that you are wasting your vote. It is not true. Waste it and let's see who wins.
These political scientists have been highlighting what the smaller parties need to do if they want to take power.
What they need to do is to move away largely from try to reorient the Ghanaian national psyche from identity-based politics to issue-based politics. So Ghanaians will not tend to make their decisions based on competence and quality of manifestos and track record than they will based on identity. So when they begin to shift the discourse away from identity and party-based mobilizations and bring it to issues, it may kind of give them a little bit of support.
They should be thinking about concentrating their energies on winning parliamentary seats, so that they can also influence public policy from that angle. You do not need to always occupy the seat of the presidency to be able to let people know what you stand for and articulate the reforms that you want to achieve.
So, how is all this going to pan out in the 2020 general elections? Are we going to see the NPP retain power, or is its biggest rival, the NDC, going to take over power? Or are we going to see a third party emerging victorious in the elections? Well, I guess we just have to wait and see. Reporting for Citi News from the Independence Square here in Accra, my name is Nashika Caesar for Citi News.
Now, meanwhile, the Convention People's Party, CPP, has outdoored Professor Emmanuel Bobbie as running mate for the party in the 2020 elections. Emmanuel Bobbie will partner presidential candidate Ivor Kobna Greenstreet to garner votes to bring the party into office. Outdooring him, Professor Bobbie called for more votes for the CPP for a better Ghana. Citi News' Kukwe Jama Ansa has more in the following report.
Professor Emmanuel Bobbie is an associate professor at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. As an agricultural engineer, he helped invent the mechanized cassava harvester, motorized cassava peeling machine, and helped in developing a centrifuge for cassava starch extraction, amongst other things. Bobbie served as the Assembly member in 2006 and a CPP parliamentary candidate in 2008, all in the North Tongue constituency. Accepting to partner Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, Professor Emmanuel Bobbie said Ghanaians are in need of a government which will be accountable to its people.
The people there, they are hungry. If you talk to them on the ground, they are hungry for the rejuvenation, the revival, the renaissance of the Conventional Party, the party that has brought a lot of development there. Because when we are talking of development, we are talking about the Adunyame Tannery Factory, which has metamorphosed into the Quality Grain Project, which has now become the Barry. And those were industrial, establishment put up during Kwame style. Then you go to upstream, you see the Australian Sugar Factory, Gazelle. Then you go upstream, you see the Kosovo Tesa Factory, then to Aponte. These are all industrial establishments put up during Kwame time, and then they are supposed to create employment. Now we have a lot of graduate unemployment. So we have the solution, we have the answers to all the problems, the challenges facing this country. And then if the people of Ghana give us the mandate again, they will see the revival of their fortunes.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate for the CPP, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, says with the agricultural background of his running mate, he is confident that agriculture in Ghana will see a facelift when voted into power.
An independent parliamentary candidate in the Sunyani West constituency in the Bono region, Bernard Odru-Techi, has indicated that he is optimistic of snatching the parliamentary seat from the Employment Minister, Ignatius Bafua, and therefore calling for a clean campaign from his supporters. He made the call during the launch of his manifesto at Adunyame, the capital of the Sunyani West Municipal. Citi News' Michael Sapunufum observed the launch and reports.
Bernard Odru-Techi went as an independent parliamentary candidate when he was disqualified
from contesting the Member of Parliament for Sunyani West and Employment Minister Ignatius Bafwewua and the New Patriotic Party parliamentary primaries. Bernard Odurotechi, speaking at the launch of his manifesto, called for a paradigm shift in leadership in the constituency. He noted that the constituency has lacked the needed leadership over the last 12 years. He outlines his 8 policies for the constituency.
We are going to build a new Sunyani West. We are going to build a Sunyani West you can trust. We are going to build a Sunyani West whereby you're going to be proud of. We are going to focus on education and skill development. We are going to focus on promoting job facilitation. We are going to focus on promoting agriculture, health and security.
Bernard Odurotechi also admonished his supporters to engage in a clean campaign devoid of insults.
I'm entreating all my campaign team. Let us run a civil campaign. Our campaign should be devoid of propaganda. Our campaign should be devoid of insult. Our campaign should be devoid of innuendo. Our campaign should be devoid of personal attack.
Some of the supporters of Bernard Odurotechi have been speaking to Citi News on the manifesto and the chances of their candidate.
As you can look at the crowd that is here, the teeming youth that are very kind of like they need change. Yeah, they are very anxious for change. So as you can see, the chances of BOT is very high. Checking the chances of other candidates, if you compare BOT, it's very high and he's winning.
Honorable Bernard Odurotechi, because he's a visionary man. He's not an incompetent man. He is an integrity. He has vision. He knows the benefits of Sunyani West. He knows what Sunyani West, the youth need. He is capable of doing something because what he said today was very good and it was touchable.
From a manifesto launch of Bernard Odurotechi, the Sunyani West constituency, I am Michael Saponifum for Citi News.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still to come, Parliament backs government's bid to deal with the threat of secession in the Volta region.
We have all the details on that particular story and more when we return. Do stay with us.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrady, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
New addictive series for you on DSTV.
A country invaded, another surrendered. What will America do?
So much has changed.
No, you've changed.
Go, go, go! Love a good British drama. World on Fire's intimate portrayal of the effects of wartime on ordinary people may be your next favorite thing to watch. Or catch Stargirl, a stellar series around a teenage superhero who is a shining beacon in the darkest of times. True crime fans, you'll be fascinated by this brilliant federal agent as she dives into the dark criminal underworld. And join some of Power's most controversial characters in this spin-off. Series definitely worth checking out on DSTV.
Kasada Ropa, a 1D1F initiative in Kumwabewaze funded by Ghana Exim Bank,
produces orange flesh sweet potato food products like sweet potato cake, bread, donuts and chips among others in large quantities for both local consumption and exports. As innovators in agribusiness with the capacity of producing over 250 tons of potatoes every 6 months, it has an estimated job creation capacity of over 1,000. Like Casaderopa, there are other factories set up across the country under the 1D1F initiative in areas such as poultry, pharmaceuticals, fruit processing, and more local businesses which are creating jobs and expected revenue. At Ghana Exim Bank, we call this the Made in Ghana 4P. Produce, promote, purchase, and prosper. If as a people we believe in the Ghana beyond aid, then let's prosper as a nation by producing, promoting, and purchasing our own products. Let's support Made in Ghana, and let's take Made in Ghana to the world. One district, one factory. Ghana at work. Ghana Exim Bank. Facilitating Ghana's international trade.
Have you wondered why people patronize for Franco Trading Enterprise? Follow me, I'll show you why. So this is the reason why people patronize from us. It's because we have quality and affordable mobile phones and accessories. Talk of Alcatel, iPhone, Samsung, and among others. We also have quality laptops and affordable television of all sizes. Our latest baby on the block is the Franco TV 65-inch Smart TV. It's just going to blow your mind. The picture quality is superb. Our shops are open for both wholesalers and retailers. You can also walk into any of our shops nationwide to window shop. But remember to always put on your face mask. Franco Trading Enterprise. Indeed, the home of quality mobile phones, televisions, and accessories.
It is Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? A new car, a vacation, or expand your business? Make your wish and have it come true in the 100 days of Christmas with a Republic Bank Christmas loan. The Republic Christmas loan is quick, easy, and so affordable with super fast turnaround time. Come into any of our branches nationwide. Call or WhatsApp 055-654-3212 or apply online via republicghana.com. Remember, wear your nose mask, stay safe. Republic Bank, we are the one for you.
The Huawei Y9A is available now in Ghana at 1,559 Ghana cedis. Hurry!
You're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Let's bring you some more stories. Now, the leadership of Parliament has pledged support for government in a bid to deal with the threat of secession in the Volta region. Last week, armed men suspected to be separatist groups in the Volta region attacked installations and made away with vehicles and arms. Now, subsequently, over 60 people were arrested to assist in further investigations and prosecution. Speaking during the opening session of the third meeting of the House, the minority and majority leaders commented on happenings in the country, including the secessionist threat. There is more in the following report.
After recess that lasted for over a month, Parliament resumed sittings on Tuesday. In his opening address, the Speaker called on members to dedicate time to work in the House, despite the demands of the electioneering season.
Honourable members, the opportunity to work for our country is a rare one. Now, let us strive for hard work, for our hard work to speak for itself.
The minority leader Harry Naidrisu, on his part, pledged the support of the minority in government's quest to deal with the threat of secession.
There is an ugly threat to the stability, sovereignty, and territory of Ghana in the Volta region. The President, as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, be assured that he has the full support of the House to deal decisively, ruthlessly with the threat to the sovereignty and integrity of our country. We cannot afford a disunited Ghana.
The majority leader, Osei Chairman Sambonsu, stressed the need for the threat of secession to be quelled.
This country has had a referendum in 1992 and resolves as a nation that will live together in unity, and we resolve to also protect the stability of this country. The clarion call should go to all of us. It should go to all of us herein assembled as members of Parliament, that collective resolve which happened when we conducted the referendum that approved the 1992 Constitution still holds. And we should not allow any individuals with ulterior motives to take this nation to the brink.
Some members of the House shared their expectations for the meeting.
We are here to do the executive's business. Well, it's very, very clear to me that the executive has lost its way. It lost its way years back. And you know, the last time we were here, we wait for days without any government business. You know, the minority managed to work very hard to get certain very critical legislation approved. But what I pray for is that we are not going to turn this meeting into another session of loan approvals.
We are here just basically to ensure that whatever government business that remains outstanding, we can sit for about at least 5 weeks or so to get it done.
For the next 20 days, which is approximately some 5 parliamentary weeks, the House would be back in session, considering a number of legislative instruments as well as bills that will be presented to the House. The key point, however, has got to do with the presentation of the budget for the first 3 months of next year. Reporting for Citi News from Parliament, my name is Duke Mensonpoku.
The Asogli State Youth and Warriors have thrown a challenge to members of the Homeland Study Group Foundation to join them in helping the state security agencies unravel recent happenings in the Volta region if indeed they are not involved in the troubles. The Asogli Traditional State Youth and Warriors, in noting the Homeland Study Group's opposition to the violence, urged its members to join them in finding justice. Convener of the Asogli State Youth and Warriors, Fafa Degbo, addressed the press.
We therefore want to lend our fullest support to the call by our traditional leaders on the warriors to rise up and protect its citizens, to complement the effort of the state security apparatus, since security is a shared responsibility. We also call on sister traditional rulers in the Volta region to put their warriors on high alert so we can together defend our heritage. History is on our side. We cannot fail, therefore, this time around. We are therefore throwing a challenge to members of the separatist groups to join us, the Asogli Warriors, and state security so we can together unravel the mysterious perpetrators of this criminal act, if they truly believe they are being accused wrongly. We also want to assure all and sundry of our determination to ensure that business, social life, and the forthcoming elections are not disrupted in our region. Long live Volta, long live Asogli State.
Still watching the Citi Newsroom, we are taking another breather. When we return, drivers who ply the Accra-Kumasi Highway want government to institute measures to prevent the recurrence of armed robbery attacks on that stretch.
We have the details plus many more coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Equinfi Juice Factory is a 1D1F initiative funded by Ghana Exim Bank. Each juice brand, Equinfi Fruit Juice, is made from fresh pineapple and its quality is impeccable. All raw materials used in its production are purchased here in Ghana. The entire value chain has helped the community prosper by creating jobs for many Ghanaians, from farming, distribution, and retail. Due to its great taste and brand promotion, Equinfi Juice is available in supermarkets and shops all over Ghana. And just like Equinfi Juice Factory, there are other factories set up across the country under the 1D1F initiative in areas such as shea production, poultry, pharmaceuticals, sweet potatoes, avocado, tomatoes, mangoes, and more local businesses which are creating jobs and expected revenue. At Ghana Exim Bank, we call this the Made in Ghana 4P: produce, promote, purchase, and prosper. If as a people we believe in the Ghana beyond aid, then let's prosper as a nation by producing, promoting, and purchasing our own products. Let's support Made in Ghana. Let's take Made in Ghana to the world. One district, one factory. Ghana at work. Ghana Exim Bank, facilitating Ghana's international trade.
It's not long ago that things were normal. Good friends could meet for a good drink and share good times. And then everything changed. And our bars, the center of our communities, all closed, sending us all indoors. But now, things are changing. Kakra kakra, small small. We're getting our lives back. Obey ye. We'll get back to the way things were.
Hey, Mama!
Hey, you want a drink?
Yeah, man.
It's time for us to rise up.
Hey, welcome back.
As we look forward to making our bars safe, Guinness Ghana will invest 10 million cedis through the Yin Boom program to get our bar owners back on their feet. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Dance the night away with some real funky shows this September on GoTV. And get hip and fabulous with some Niger food to whet your African appetite.
Why do we eat?
It's all mind over matter when you upgrade to GoTV Plus or GoTV Max. It takes a brilliant mind to take down an insane street-smart criminal. Stay connected or upgrade to GoTV Plus or GoTV Max for access to real groovy shows. We're putting the funk in entertainment. GoTV. Live it. Love it.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial mouthwash formula and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath.
Play the golden goal on Bet Planet today with just 20 Ghana cedis. You could win a Mercedes and 100,000 Ghana cedi worth of prizes. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 8.
Hello, my brother. It's been a long while. Your house did build. I used the finest materials for this building. I can see that. But my brother, you know, just last year you built this house. Oh yeah. When the walls started peel off like banana due to rising damp. My brother, that's been my issue. I've tried so many things, but nothing works. You know what? They even use that black rubber thing on it before the concrete casting. You mean that boiler rubber? Oh, my brother, you would have saved yourself the stress if only you used Visqueen DPM from Vertigio Limited. Really? That'd be what my puppy used for house. And over so many years, the house till they come out.
For purchases and enquiries, contact Ventigio Limited at Spinters Road, Accra, or in Kumasi at Oshumasi Kwarasu.
Visqueen DPM, no size.
Hello again. Authorities at the VIP bus terminal in Kumasi want government to institute measures to prevent the recurrence of armed robbery attacks on the Kumasi-Accra highway. Drivers who have had terrible experiences tell Citi News they are uncomfortable anytime they ply the route for fear of being attacked. They have thus called on government and security agencies to help protect users of the highway. Citi News' Edward Opon-Mafo reports.
The Kumasi-Accra highway
is one of the busiest roads in the country. For regular users of the road, aside the nature of the road, which they have attributed to the numerous accidents on the stretch, another major challenge is the spate of armed robbery attacks. Armed men usually block roads and attack persons traveling on the stretch. In some instances, while all belongings of passengers are taken, some drivers and passengers either sustain severe gunshot wounds or die in the process. One of the groups that appear to be at the receiving end of this is VIP drivers and passengers who use the stretch. Authorities at VIP Gen have described as worrying the instances where their vehicles traveling from Kumasi to Accra and vice versa are frequently attacked by armed robbers in recent times. Their call follows an incident where some VIP buses and other private vehicles were reportedly attacked by armed robbers in the early hours of Monday. The authorities at VIP Terminal in Kumasi have thus urged government and the security agencies to ensure the issue is addressed, particularly as the 2020 general elections and the Christmas festivities approach, and a lot of people will be traveling. Francis Asamoah is the second trustee of VIP Gen in Kumasi.
Inti sraban esrena nisikiti fona omo wonkra kwanso no yesre omo kasa omo de benante ekwan no so izan say sa akronfo no de mi hu ni say omo timi behwe ba bia police fo ni gina no omo so atwimu tintin omo man taban bebre say de be ya so omo rabo cars no kra omo check kra bia 10 minutes 15 minutes no omo da head omo ye wi.
One of the drivers of VIP Gen who has had terrible experiences in the hands of armed robbers, Adunyame, says they are always worried anytime they use the road, since they know they can be attacked anytime. He believes authorities are not doing enough to address their concerns. As a regular user of the stretch, he wants authorities to show leadership by coming up with strategies to help guarantee the safety of users.
Because especially I could bring you from any year cry. Any person for any person for when Pacrofas can be a two bottom or two problem.
Some passengers have been speaking to Citi News on the matter.
It's scary. At every vantage point, they should actually make sure that there are people there ready to go through the buses and make sure that at least those who are in the buses are genuine people.
The police patrols, they have to let them be on board all the time so that they could assist. But you know, with the police, we are not enough. So there is no way this thing is going to work. So I think our personal security is about us.
Drivers and passengers say this is a recurrent situation and that they want authorities to address this as early as possible. For Citi News, I'm Edward upon Marfo, VIP Terminal, Kumasi.
Now, residents of Iwutu Kwalbonze in the Iwutu Sunyani West constituency are worried over the high rate of land guard activities in the area. Now, some residents of the community who spoke to Citi News say women and children are living in fear for their lives.
They lament that children refuse to go on errands to the farms for fear of being abused by land guards. Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete has more in the following reports.
For residents of Kwalbonze in the Iwutu Sunyani West district of the Central Region, they want the Inspector General of Police to intensify police patrols in the community to curb the activities of land guards in the area. Residents of the town lament that women and children are living in fear for their lives as a result of the rampant shooting and violence in the area. Just a little over a week, the Asafohene of Odupong Ofako, Nai Oshipi Dako, was shot and killed by land guards after he visited a disputed land at Kwalbonze. The body of the deceased was later found in the J River, while 3 persons have been arrested in connection with the incident. Some residents of the town have been speaking to Citi News about their ordeal.
Langa di samne haya dream at city or Kwaboni Kromha. Almost say so almost dienya, almost to me babu abu boy. Now you palace gate, you almost babu. So we have a man who ben aya. No man so babu, they have a boy. Who fear and the Anadina who know hearing. ya no yiri no yiri no ma no ma pom baby adwane na mo akwada enti Langard samedo mo city ye na akufo do ye sre no oni IGP on twa na ni ma hwe ye kita nkwala nketo ye wosa Langard ha mu de e de ma ye papa ade atina sa wo ba policy ha no mu a etu ababa egu ha no mu no nwa abakasa ye kum aboa enye aboa mo penipa no mu de eku enti Langard de agin se mo kwa bo ndi asase so ene wo da na dwekura na etu ogina wo so ena no ekom de me si me ba me papa ansia abagiska babase wo he nyina askata me de me yam kom ene san ko ene Langard me obakra no omutami so ansia me de me yam kom na ko
28-year-old Joyce Oba, a resident, narrated to Citi News how she lost her pregnancy as a result of Langard operations in the area.
Meti say motos bebre aba ho enta ma me bisa me pie ena me bisa say den na ekoso ana ba ku sign say omu ba me kunu wana me kunu na me si me kunu oni ho ana me bisa say da asem enkra na mu de mam de me kunu ba me kan kire ni do nko mu ba be kunu no ma me tundi amo ko na next time so mu ba na ma me tunu be kunu me kita akora ketwa. Chief
of Awutu Kwabonze Nai Kofi Achre wants the Inspector General of Police to intensify patrols in the area.
To first, what to say, Obitu, it too, because in our corridor, and a corridor, and that's a country, then they would to a nipa. And the best IGP, na Omra, no machine. No, now, or he be a new hawk. Miana, because I mean, your hino. Minam your hino, or Nibisi, or your Hibio Kwamana, or Bois, IGP, power, Omra, no my and a gun. So, or he wanna, I come home. More for no odupon or here on him no on me into a punch that will be in your way.
And that's how we wrap up. You've been watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Remember that our website, citinewsroom.com, has more news updates.
Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and the App Store and keep updated on the go.
You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182.
My name is Frema Adunyame.
And I am Bobbie Osei. It's been a pleasure coming your way.
Citi TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world. Rigworld Solutions is a wholly owned Ghanaian company that offers multiple engineering solutions for the extractive and petrochemical industries. We manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings. From our factory at Kejebri in Takrade in the western region of Ghana, Rigworld Solutions employs Ghanaians to produce world-class products. with cutting-edge technology. All products are manufactured to ensure the strictest adherence to customer specifications. The threading, cutting, chamfering, and stamping of the bars are modeled around the ISO 9001 global standard. Safety is at the heart of every production process at Rigworld Solutions. From the coating to the sandblasting, the washing and the phosphate treatment, our quality control checks are the most rigorous in the industry. We have instituted full part traceability throughout the manufacturing process, and all products are measured and inspected for specification conformity before deployment to you. Locate our factory in Kejabri off the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries@rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
It's a few months to, actually, a little over 2 months to election 2020. You've been waiting for 4 years. It's here now. All political parties are busily preparing for the polls. Who are you going to vote for? Today on Face to Face, my guest will tell you why you should give 4 more for Nana on Face to Face. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. My guest is the Minister for Zongo Development, Inner Cities and Zongo Development. Before then, he was aide to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President now of the Republic. He's also the Deputy Campaign Manager of the New Patriotic Party into election 2020. Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid. Is there a Alhaji in there somewhere?
No, I haven't done the Hajj yet.
I haven't gone to Hajj. Why? Sheikh Isikwe could give you free tickets.
Yeah, you know, everybody has their targets in life for doing the things that they want to do. Quite frankly, I had told myself ever since I was a young man that I'll do the Hajj when I'm 50 years.
Oh, okay.
That's if I have life. If I don't have life, it's not a compulsory pillar of Islam. But if I have life, I'll do it at 50.
Why?
It's just me. Because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says that at 50, it's when a human being has gained absolute maturity. And that at the age of 50, any person who is found doing, if you want, all of the vices,
Lalata.
Basically, is basically married to Satan at that age. So in other words, 50 is an age of cleansing, and the Hajj is a cleansing ritual. So I want to tie that age to the ritual of cleansing.
Wow.
So that when I go and I come after the age of 50, I become ritually clean, spiritually clean,
and preparing for your grave.
And preparing for my grave, basically.
Wow. I may consider that. But then, and forgive me, this is not a conversation, but since you are a lecturer, it's good to learn these things from you. Our constitution says before you become president, you should be 40 plus.
Yes.
Maybe we should be pushing it to 50 if you're looking at the Islamic.
No. I said that's why I use the word cleansing, the age of cleansing. There's the age of maturity, and then there's the age of cleansing.
Okay.
At 40, you have gained maturity.
Okay.
Okay, but you still have some tendencies for sliding and falling and so on. But at the age of 50, you are supposed to have been absolutely well-rounded and properly matured to be able to say, now I am on the journey towards my maker.
I see. Yeah. Tell me why Muslims or Zongo people need a special dedicated ministry. There are people who think that there are so many people who are struggling. Why should we specialize the Zongo people and give them a special ministry and even give them a fund? What is so special about Zongo people? Why this ministry?
Well, the reason is because, first of all, it's important to correct the point that this is a ministry of inner city and Zongo development. Okay, inner city being the urban poor communities, and then also the Zongo communities. I always tell people that all Zongo communities are inner cities, but not inner cities are Zongo communities. Now, though, there is also a rural Zongo phenomenon, but hitherto, the Zongo phenomenon was exclusively urban. You know, the Zongo phenomenon started as an urban phenomenon. Now we also have Zongo communities in rural areas. So it is important to target this group of people because, I mean, everybody knows the effects of poverty. A lack of education, illiteracy, then makes people vulnerable. And those vulnerabilities, as we have seen all across the world, can lead young people into all manner of vices. You know, even it is these urban deprived young people that are used to foment trouble across various countries, or even the Boko Haram phenomenon in Nigeria. The most people who serve as soldiers for that phenomenon are the urban deprived people who are easily fed with messianic concepts of a better day to come than the earthly political authority that has made your condition like this and so on. So, as the Akan people say, if your neighbor's beard is on fire, you try to fetch water
put by your side.
By your own side. You know, so the president thought that after over 60 years of independence, it is important that we tackle the phenomenon of urban poor head on. And the bulk of that phenomenon is what we call Zongo communities in Ghana.
So I have had conversations with people and someone says to me, okay, so there is an Ever boy living in East Legon. The mother sells agbelikaklo. I don't know what the English word for that is. And that's how she survives and sends him to the public school there. That child is vulnerable. That child is a product of poverty. Why don't we have a special ministry for that child? Yet we have one for a similar circumstance in Nima.
Because there are other programs that seek to level the platform for every Ghanaian, irrespective of where they are.
Including Zongo children and Zongo people.
Of course, of course. So the point I'm making to you is that the young boy in the uncompleted building in East Legon, whose mother is struggling, has an opportunity in our educational programs to be able to go to school now, whether or not the mother is poor. Now, poor people from deprived schools are able to go to Mfansepem, Achimota, and etc., etc. Hitherto, those schools were reserved only for the elite, and so on. So that leveling is taken care of by the other social protection programs that President Akufo-Addo has, you know, such as free SHS and so on. And so, but you see, if you have a large concentration of you are talking about isolated cases, East Legon, Ebia, Jowulu, etc., etc. But when you have all of that Jowulu and East Legon put together in one sprawling community, then it means that the problem is even more accentuated.
So you need a special more level of leveling than what you already have.
Exactly. In other words, you need some intensity.
So deliberateness.
Absolutely.
But the leveling, because if a child is in Nima, they can still go to Wegehe or any school.
Yeah, but you see, the ones that are living in East Legon and Jowulu that you are talking about, they have amenities, they have proper clinics. They have social services. They
Bobbie has
they
polyclinic.
have I'm coming. They have street lights. Their alleyways are well paved. They have very good schools inside Jowulu, etc. You know, the society there is more laid out. It's better planned than the urban poor settlements, which so part of the thing is not just the human development, but even in terms of restructuring the habitat in which the people live.
Okay, let's talk about schools. So there are schools everywhere, government schools, and from what I'm picking up, just by virtue of the fact that this school is located in Zango, it produces students with less quality. Is it a case that there's less supervision in the Zangos even though they are the same public schools? Is that something you would first of all agree with, that there's less education in Zangos even though they have the same facilities and same teachers passed by the same GES?
Yes, some of it is historical, some of it is systemic. So I'll tackle the historical first. You know, education generally was brought into this country by Christian missionaries. Okay. Zion Mission, Presby, Wesley, all of those. So for a very long time, there was huge reluctance on the part of Muslims and Zango people to take their children to school, because there was the fear, and to confess, as a scholar, I have researched and published on that phenomenon, that it wasn't just fear, it was fear that was founded, that many of them were compelled to convert to Christianity. Even names. At that time, when you took your child to school, they were compelled to take on Christian names in addition to their Muslim names.
Is the reason my father didn't let any of his children go to school except me?
Ah, absolutely. So it means that what I'm saying is borne out even by your family history.
Yes.
Exactly. So for a very long time, we weren't taking our children to school for that fear. So it took us over 80 years until about early 70s, when a deliberate policy by the Champon government sought to establish an Islamic education unit, you see, with the sole purpose of giving Muslims some comfort, and Zongo people some comfort that, okay, now we have our own Islamic unit, we have our own Muslims heading it, we have our own Muslim people attending those schools, Arabic is being taught in those schools, then it gives them comfort to be able to take their children to school. But by then, we're already 80 years behind time. So that's number one, that's the historic. The systemic is that after the creation of the Islamic education unit, the other religious education units are more endowed. Presby, Catholic, you know, the Catholic Church is quite rich all across the world.
Yeah.
So they are able to endow their schools with better facilities, pay their teachers better, and so on. So you have various schools within Catholic education, Presby, Anglican, etc., which churn out excellent material, which are called excellent schools. Are you following me? And that's what even all the way even to SS, you have St. Roses, Archbishop Porter, this, that. But right now, on top of your head, you cannot mention one school within the Islamic education unit that you can equate to a Matthias of Uganda, for example.
That's true.
You cannot.
I mean, the Ahmadis will be struggling, even though they have the best or amongst.
Exactly.
Even they will be struggling.
Even they will be struggling. So that's the systemic aspect. So this Zongo Development Ministry is part of the effort to intervene to correct the systemic imbalance within
Fantastic.
the
so
education
in
system.
this correction, you're going to do it both physically and maybe through other means.
Yes, please.
On the specific issue of physical, the Minister for Works and Housing, your colleague,
yes,
I don't know whether you're in cabinet. Are you in cabinet?
Yes, please.
Good. Your colleague in cabinet, Atachia, said he's going to turn Nima into Villaggio. I mean, he didn't use Villaggio, but he essentially said...
Well, yes, it gives a mental picture.
It still hasn't happened 3 years on, since your ministry was created, since he became minister, since Akufo-Addo became president.
Well, I'm not his spokesperson.
Yes.
But I can see his concept that you need not just Nima, but most of these urban poor settlements to be better structured, spatially. Alleyways, this, that, all of those things. That is his concept. He started, I guess that he did what they call he flew a kite, you know, basically to throw the idea to see a crystallization of minds, you know, people, because it is not a matter that has come before the cabinet table for discussion yet. It is his idea. And I guess he's still in the consultations. He spoke to me and I said, go and consult the chiefs and consult the people in the Nima area.
He spoke matter-of-factly when he granted me an interview.
Yes, because
many years ago.
Because it is very firm in his mind that this is what he wants to do. That's what he means by that's what you mean by the matter of factly. That as Minister for Works and Housing, this is what I want to do. That's the matter of fact. But that there's actually a cabinet decision to do that.
Happened.
No, it hasn't.
But do you not think that still saddles the government in some sort of trouble, that people will start quoting the Minister for Works and Housing, whether or not it's going before cabinet? They'll say, oh, Zongo Minister, you are supposed to turn Nima into villager. It hasn't happened. It's going to be an indictment on your administration as a minister and your government.
Well, I'm not so sure about indictment because the Ghanaian people know, at least the many Ghanaian people know the processes that decisions go through in order to become reality. And in this country, you are free to if you want, propose.
Okay.
So it's a proposal.
So let's talk about, since your ministry came now, so that no one accuses you of collecting salary and doing nothing.
Yes, please.
Tell us some of the things you've done in Zangos. Okay. Because that seems to be the more popular one. Of course, you also have inner cities, but in Zongo specifically,
yes, please.
What has your ministry and your Zongo Development Fund done that we should be applauding you for?
Well, first of all, it's not about an applause. We just do our work. As for applause, I'm not sure that, you know, there's a Dagomba saying that humans will never be called good until they are in their graves.
That's true.
So my principle of life is that just do what you have to do. Reward, applause is a bonus. Okay. So I'll go straight to what we have done. I don't really care about the applause. Okay. Now, the president has given us, if you want, I think 4 mandate areas.
So thematic areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Per his program of economic and social development. You know, every president, when you come to power, you are supposed to go to Parliament and present a program for your social and economic development policy for a 4-year period. So the one that President Akufo-Addo has presented to this Parliament, actually it's an 8-year program because it's 2017 to 2024 program of development. In page 116, that's where the mandate of the Ministry of Inner City and Zongo Development and the Zongo Development Fund is captured.
Okay.
And it says 1, your duty shall be 1, to improve on educational and health infrastructure.
Okay, so that's 1.
In Zongo. Yes, that's 1.
So let's, when you list the theme, tell me 1 or 2 things you've done so that we can, because of time. So improving education and health infrastructure, what have you done? Where?
Yes, we've built school blocks, classroom blocks in many Zongo communities. If you go to Konongo Zongo, for example, beautiful 6 classroom block is there.
Okay.
You go to Tolong, the Zongo community, there's another beautiful 6 classroom block that is there. One in Kweje, in the Volta region.
So that's education. How about health?
Yes, that's education. In terms of the health infrastructure, there's CHIP compound that is being redone. Actually, it was already existing, very run down, dilapidated, and the community people said, this is what we want. This is
so you're redeveloping it?
Yes, redeveloping
I saw pictures of you commissioning one's room toilets. What was that about? That after 4 years, you built only 1 KVIP and you are happily cutting salt?
Yeah, in politics, mischief is allowed. Mischief is allowed. First of all, Ghana, I don't know what the current statistics are, but until we came to power in 2017, Ghana together with Sudan were rated as the 2 countries with the most abysmal record in the production of toilet facilities. In other words, that these 2 countries were the one with the highest rates of open defecation in the world, Ghana and Sudan. A lot of that happened along our beaches. because the inner city communities along the coast don't have these facilities, so they go to the beaches to defecate. Now the effect of that also is that it drives away tourists, because tourists to most of these countries by the coast, they like to come because of the beautiful beaches and so on. We don't have beautiful beaches because of all this phenomenon. So we, as part of our mandate in this ministry, in intervening in the health sector, because mind you, sanitation facilities are health matters, okay? So we decided that we should intervene to provide toilets for the people in these inner city communities.
So that's the one we saw you opening?
Yes.
Okay.
So mind you, there's also a bigger program called the Gamma Project, where the World Bank itself is supporting the communities in these areas to acquire toilets. It's 4,000 cedis per toilet, per facility, okay? The World Bank was paying 2,900, and then every household is supposed to contribute. The inhabitants of the household, you contribute 1,100 to make it 4,000, and the World Bank would come and intervene. But because of the phenomenon of urban poverty, we realized that many hundreds of households there could not even raise the 1,100 cedis. So this ministry decided that we will pay the counterpart of the 1,100 cedis to the World Bank project so that they build these toilets. And we intervened in so far 252 households inside Adabraka, Osu, Jamestown, Kolebono, Kolewokon, all of those areas. And those are the ones that we went around to go and inspect.
Other themes. So after education and health, which other themes?
So education, health, recreation. Recreation is the ones that we are doing with the AstroTurfs and Green Park.
Are those priorities? AstroTurf in Zangos, is that a priority?
Yes, it's a huge priority.
Who told you that?
The people themselves.
Okay.
The people themselves. The people say that they don't have recreational spaces. That's number one. And in Zango communities, as a Zango boy, that we have a lot of social activities because of the religion.
Yeah, the communal nature of
Aure, Suna, Idi, Maulidi, all of those things. So even grounds for these celebrations and so on are non-existent.
Okay. Just give me the last two themes, and then we have to take a quick break. So,
health. So I've talked about health and sanitation. I've talked about education and recreation, and then we talked about development of businesses. It's one of our mandates.
And the last one would be what?
And then development of businesses, and then promotion of culture.
Okay. I'll come back so that we'll talk more on your ministry plus politics. This is Face to Face on Citi TV. My guest is Dr. Sheikh Abdul Hamid Mustafa. He's Minister for Zango Development and Inner Cities as well. We'll come back and also speak generally about the Akufo-Addo administration. How has it fared thus far and why they should be voted for? He is a deputy campaign manager. Don't worry.
On the 7th of December, you will be going to the polls to elect a member of parliament. How well do you know your constituency?
We take a visit to the Awutu Senya East constituency of the Central region. We are coming to you from the Inshayaso constituency in the Ashanti region. I'm still in the Aswanse constituency.
Political parties will be campaigning for your vote.
We have done almost about 80 to 90 different projects across the country.
There is no single school under any electoral area that has not seen the development of Honorable Muntaka.
But as a constituent, what will inform your choice of a candidate to represent you in Parliament?
My party is my community. What program are you bringing in to solve the problem of my community?
Be involved in what concerns you. My name is Frema Adunyame. Join me on The Constituency for all you need to know concerning your socio-economic development. The Constituency airs on Citi TV Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m.
You're welcome back to Face on Citi TV. I am Umaru Sandam. My guest is the Minister for Zongo Development. He's also Deputy Campaign Manager of the NPP. John Dramani Mahama and the NDC have promised mosques to benefit Muslim communities. You talked about mischief. It seems the NPP has deliberately twisted that, and you were saying something else.
No, I'm not sure that the NPP has said anything. I'm sure you've also heard imams and other Muslim clerics and Zango people talk about the fact that they don't need mortuaries. Umaru, I mean, for objectivity sake, I'll tell you what the need is. Clearly, there's a need for, if you want, death ceremonies.
Rituals.
Yes, okay. But the answer is not mortuaries. Muslims, because per the tradition of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are not supposed to keep dead bodies for long. Okay, so clearly we don't even need mortuaries. If you go to Tamale, which is perhaps one of the most populated towns in Tamale with the highest number of Muslims, you would hardly find a Muslim dead body in Tamale's mortuary. We don't use the mortuary services in Tamale. So clearly, there's no need for mortuaries in Zango. What is needed is that Muslims are always complaining. And as minister, I sit here almost every week. I have to intervene 2 or 3 times with some hospital authorities for the release of our bodies. You know, there's a law, a coroner's law. I don't know how the law is called. Law governing when somebody goes to hospital and dies. You know, when you are sent to a hospital, and in less than 24 hours, you die, the law mandates the hospital to conduct an autopsy to determine the cause of your death. Normally, if you are already admitted in the hospital for about a week or 2, the doctors know what they've been treating you for. And so when you die, it's easier for your body to be released to your family. But normally, the problem is with those who come in and then they die.
But the NDC
and
says,
so I'm coming. So the people are always clamoring, give us our body to go and bury. So now, what is the answer? The answer is, how do we ensure that even in keeping with the law, we still allow Muslims the day or 12-hour period or less to be able to take their bodies to go and bury? So the NDC should have been saying, when we come into power, we will establish a regime within the hospitals that allow Muslim bodies to be released early for them to do their burial. It's a very simple statement that you need to put. But they're not going to go and build mortuaries that they are not going to use.
But you see, you can't control what the hospital system would say. If the hospital say we need to do a coroner inquest, or we have to do an autopsy or whatever, you cannot control and force the hospital to release the body. So what the NDC have said, and I've read their manifesto and I've listened to John Mahama speak, is that they're going to produce or provide a support system to the existing mortuaries of the hospital. So even though your side is saying it's going to be one Zongo, one mortuary, they have said that they did not say, and indeed the document doesn't say that they're going to build mortuaries in Zongos. Instead, every hospital will have an attaching morgue. And they said we have such things in Kumasi, for instance. They said that there's an attached morgue for Muslims where Muslims are kept dressed and all of that before they are taken out to be buried. Surely that should not be a problem. I think I've seen something like that in the Kufuridoa Government Hospital.
Under President Kufuor, in Kumasi at the Konfanochi Hospital, there was this prominent Muslim Zango man called Alhaji Shekai, who, per the arrangements of the Kufuor administration, was the point man between the hospital and the Muslim communities of Kumasi, whereby if somebody died, Alhaji Shekai shows up. That was basically his work. So he was always around the hospital. You go and see Shekai, Mutumimu, Yarasu, Haka Haka. And then he would go to the administration, talk with them, go through the process as quickly as possible. They were not subverting the law, but just that they will make sure that a doctor is called on hand quickly if an autopsy has to be done, and so on. Because, you see, we are not necessarily advocating as Muslims that we should skip autopsy completely. Because otherwise, many people would murder people. You just ingest poison into somebody, and then once they take the poison, you rush them to hospital, and then they die. And because we are not supposed to do autopsy, it will be a recipe for murder. And I don't think that we want to be accessories to that kind of thing. But what we are saying is that quickly, there was that system in place with Alhaji Shekai, where they would then quickly do the autopsy, get the body to the family. And that system was there throughout the Kufuor era. It is NDC came to power in 2019 and threw Alhaji Shekai 2009, and said that he was an MPP person, so Bamusun Kananga, and then the system collapsed. So you are the same people who collapsed the system.
But you can't use someone who is not a part of the hospital to be doing such administrative stuff for people they don't even know. That may not, you have essentially planted a guru boy at the hospital. That's what you have done.
No, because it was official in the sense that
it doesn't have an appointment letter.
What are the NDC people saying? They are basically saying the same thing, that Muslims need a system.
Yeah, they put a system. Yeah, but you didn't put a system. You just put one man. Alhaji Shekai may be collecting money, and I'm not saying he has, but I'm saying he may be collecting money from people. How do you account for that? Let's move on. One of the mandates of your ministry is to ensure education in the Zangos. Early child marriage is a problem in the Zangos. What have you done about that?
Well, first of all, I mean, there are two ways of resolving the matter. One, it is important also to realize that per research, published research, part of the reason people give away their daughters early for marriage is because they don't have the facility for educating them to higher levels. You know, so there's a lot of research at the Department of Education at UCC that I've seen that has said that people are always weighing between educating boys and girls. And then they always come to the conclusion that, look, let's forget the girls, let's invest our monies in the boys because they are not going to get pregnant, and etc., etc. And so these girls are left out. And once they are left out, they are forced to go into early marriage. So I am saying to you that this decision to introduce free senior high school is a huge leap in the effort towards preventing early marriages in our Zango communities, because now all the girls are able to go to school without an excuse that they were not well educated.
But sometimes it's culture and religious.
That's number one. I'm coming. Number two, as for the religious, the ulama, I mean, are already educating our population to the effect that it is not a pillar of Islam that your daughter that is 50 years or 60 years ought to get married. In any event, the conditions that existed in Arabia in the 7th century are not the same conditions that exist today in the 21st century in Ghana. The ulama are already having that education. Now, what is left is for a government to provide them the wherewithal to be able to accelerate, or if you want, push these children beyond junior high school. And Akufo-Addo has provided the facility for doing so.
Should people not be arrested? Because this happens all the time. Every now and then we hear stories of these people being married off at these very young ages. If we have a ministry, at least we should have said that by 2018, this has stopped. It hasn't stopped.
Well, the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, I know, has been actively engaged in this phenomenon, not only within Zango communities, but all across the country, in the north, etc., etc. I mean, in the efforts. One, I have read a few cases where they have even gone and rescued children who were forcefully married before the poverty. And let me come back to the point that if you interview the parents who give their young girls out for marriage, they always make the point that they are doing so because of poverty and etc. Sometimes because a richer man would be able to then take care of their families and so on. So one of the fundamental ways of taking this phenomenon out within our society is also to address the phenomenon of access to education.
Okay. In 2016, you were aide to Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.
Yes, please.
You called a press conference at your party's office at Asylum Down.
Yes, please.
You cried and said that John Mahama, the president at the time, had given a vehicle, Mitsubishi Pajero, to Bugri Nabu, Daniel Bugri Nabu, one of your chairmen at the time.
Yes, please.
Where is that car?
It was packed in the MPP headquarters in 2016. Quite frankly, I don't know where it's gone.
But you've been in office for 4 years. If you accuse the sitting president of corruption, we should have seen some processes 4 years on that at least you have written to him to explain, or you are possibly planning some action in court. Nothing like that has happened. What would you say to any critic who say what you did that day, where you shed tears, was a fraudulent act?
Oh, no, it cannot be. I mean, it was a press conference that showed the evidence, that showed the bank account number, the amount that was given him, the deposit receipt, how much he had already withdrawn, the car, the papers were all shown to the journalists as the evidence. I mean, the company that imported the car, who were the owners of that company, the owners of that car, all of that linked to President Mahama's office.
So you had all the evidence?
Yes, of course. So we showed the evidence. But, I mean, that's a case of bribery of a party chairman. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with us in taking government money and giving. So I'm not sure
bribery is bribery.
That was more, so it was moral corruption. And morality and ethics is an integral part of leadership. But if somebody falls short in the area of morality and ethics, it is for public judgment. I'm not sure morality is a prosecutable or justiciable.
So we shouldn't legalize morality, you think?
Oh yeah, that's what some countries do when they say.
But what happens when you're defaming people in the way you did it? If you wanted to prove that it is true what you said, you'd go to court. But you call a press conference and tarnish the image of a president.
No.
And 4 years on, you haven't done anything.
Umaru. Right now, this interview we are having, if we finish the interview and you go and sit on your station in Citi FM and brandish 100 CD notes and say, see, Mustafa Hamid, he bribed me in my office, but to get the evidence, I took the money and this is the money and so on. You have shown what you believe is the evidence for it. If I refute that matter, I would go to court and challenge you to prove that those notes are attributable to me or are traceable to me. That's what you should do. So we provided the evidence and everything. So if they believed strongly that they didn't have any such contact with Bugri Nabu and everything, they should have gone to court to sue Bugri Nabu and the party for doing that press conference. So, and then we would go to court.
So when people throw corruption mad at Nana Akufo-Addo now, they shouldn't be blamed for doing that, should they? When they say that Nana Akufo-Addo is corrupt, in fact, John Mahama said, well, he re-echoed Sakawa boys.
Yes.
They shouldn't be blamed for saying those things, and that you are selling the destiny of the country through corrupt means in the Japa royalties. People should expect you rather to go to court and clean yourself, not the NDC justifying.
There's no such evidence. Okay, there's no such evidence of anything that they are talking about. If they are saying that President Akufo-Addo, okay, took a Ford exhibition from a contractor in Burkina Faso.
Kanazwe.
I don't know what it is. I'm just giving you an example.
That's his name, Kanazwe.
Oh, there was such an incident. Okay. So I'm just giving an example. If President Akufo-Addo took a Ford expedition from a contractor from Burkina Faso, and there's evidence that that contractor has been given a contract to do some roads in the OT region, and so on and so forth. Yes, then we would then challenge that matter either before Shraj or so. And you've seen evidence of government appointees who have gone to Shraj, like the former appointee under President Kufuor, former roads minister Richard Anani, went President Kufuor himself, when they alleged that his house, he had gold water closets and this and that, he went to Shraj. In the end, the people couldn't substantiate the thing, and he was. So if there is such evidence, we will go to court to vindicate our name. But if it's just people throwing things up in the air in the public, we trust the mind of the Ghanaian people that they know what is propaganda from what is substance. If people have substance, they will go to the appropriate forum.
We have performed better is one of the slogans of your government. How better have you performed in fighting corruption?
Because we have reiterated several times that the kinds of money budgetary allocations that our government has made to these anti-corruption institutions. It's been 3-4-fold over what other governments have done. First of all, most of these anti-corruption institutions had complained over the years of a lack of resources, that they don't have the resources to prosecute their cases, their offices in the various districts are closed. If somebody has a case in Hamili, he doesn't, all of those things. In increasing budgetary allocation and in supplying them with the tools to be able to do their work, it's a huge, if you want, fight in empowering them to be able to do their work, and we have done that.
But you have done that. The Office of Special Prosecutor is still bleeding. We have been told he has chosen the huge building near Parliament House, the Get Fund building. As we speak, he hasn't moved in. The budget that he's given, 180 million, we are told is only 3 million or so that is disbursed to his office because he doesn't have the staff to even consume that money that is given to him. So it's almost like showmanship what you are doing, window dressing of corruption. You have sent your Auditor General home a few months to elections, and strange circumstances, even though you said he was going to go on leave. That will not be a party or a government that is serious in fighting corruption.
I'm not sure that if people are due for their leave period, and then the appointing authority says take your leave, it is, if you want, a dent on the fight against corruption. That precedent has existed before.
A bad precedent.
I'm not sure if it is a bad precedent. It's just that if it is time for you to take your leave, you ought to take your leave. That has nothing to do with pushing back on corruption. Now, secondly, the point that you made about the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I'm sure that what you are parroting or saying now is a phenomenon that I heard in the early parts of the establishment of that office in 2017.
We've
since gone past that. Well, I haven't heard him complain. I have heard
you haven't
him
been
in
reading his
public,
epistles.
Public space. The recent epistles he's been writing is about working with Rawlings. So the public prosecutor, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, now is talking about things that he's doing and so on, and he's doing them. I haven't heard him complain lately.
Let's talk about health.
Yes.
The NDC would point to hospitals and say this is what they have left behind. In 4 years, what are you leaving behind?
Well, you see, healthcare is not the establishment or the building of empty shells. Okay, shells in themselves don't cure people. It is what you put in there, the wherewithal, the capacity for hospitals, for health institutions and so on, to be able to administer healthcare to people. That's what is important. Otherwise, why? We would just go around the country and put up empty shells, and then people don't have access to healthcare. When we came, the National Health Insurance Scheme, which has proven to be the biggest intervention in our health sector in many decades, was on the brink of collapse. It owed the service provided 1.2 billion cedis. People, by December 2016, hospitals were no longer taking national health insurance cards. We've been able to reverse that.
The University of Ghana Medical Center was not an empty shell. The Ridge Hospital was not an empty shell. The Bank of Ghana Hospital was not an empty one. The Shai Osudoku District Hospital was not an empty one. The Ga East Hospital, which you used to treat COVID, was not an empty shell.
University of Ghana Medical Center, when we come, it wasn't operational. It was an empty shell. You build the
They had everything in there.
Put what? It wasn't there.
Even the air conditioners were running when we went to check. It was simply an issue of administrative fight over health ministry versus Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Clearly, that was a struggle.
Well, but even
so fast forward. Which empty shells are you leaving behind?
Which empty shells are we?
Yeah, because if it's going to be a comparative analysis,
yes. And if you are doing a comparative record of NDC's 8 years in government versus our 3 years in government, then I'm telling you that in 3 years, the systems that we have put in place that allows people to access healthcare in terms of a resuscitation of the National Health Insurance Scheme, the provision of 1 ambulance per every district and extra that allows people to get to health facilities in time, the provision of medical equipment, medical supplies to hospitals to be able to allow people to access healthcare, in my view, in 3 years is preferable to an 8-year tenure that only gets you to show 3 or 4 health facilities. Okay. What is the use of Accra Medical Center to my mother in Widana? Because she wants to go to the Widana health facility there and be able to find a nurse there who will attend to her. That's what is important to her.
John Mahama made his ministers commit a percentage of their salary to building cheap compounds. Your mother in Widana would benefit from the cheap compound in that community.
Did they come to account to you for that money? Did they show you how many cheap compounds?
They said they built 15 or so.
And where are they?
I'm sure we can trace them if
Absolutely.
we
So that's for them to show us.
This is Face to Face on Citi TV. When we come back, it's a corona election. How easy or difficult is it to campaign? His deputy campaign manager, we'll talk to him about that. Plus, it's a year of roads. It's still on the government's head. We'll talk about that too, don't worry.
Election 2020, Ghana makes a choice. Tracking and bringing reports of the presidential and parliamentary campaigns across the length and breadth of this nation.
Analyzing campaign activities and election data with our panelists on the Voters' Diary.
The Voters' Diary is the most factual, instructive, and balanced election 2020 analysis program on television.
The Voters' Diary every weekday on Citi TV from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Stay informed on all the relevant issues on election 2020.
Tune into the Voters' Diary. It's Ghana's choice.
Citi TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world.
So why don't you debate John Mahama? He's calling you out for a debate. He says even if you want, you can let the First Lady be the moderator. He's not afraid.
The Vice President has answered, and I want to accentuate the Vice President's answer, that the debate is already ongoing. Even you and I, what we are doing, even though it's not a debate, typical debate, but you're asking me questions to account for what has happened in Zongo communities, what have you done this in terms of health. That's a debate. It's ongoing.
But that has always been happening. Yes, we've been seeing presidential debates. That's happening in the US, but Trump is facing Biden, and they are having a debate. I mean, even though you may not call it a debate in the right sense of the word.
Because it's an institutional part of their electoral culture. We don't have that institution.
We learned it. We started it.
Well, do you know that they have a whole institution and a mechanism set up as part of their democratic structure for moderating these things? Initially, it was the IEA. The NDC at a point said the IEA was very biased. They didn't participate. I think President Mills boycotted one of them because IEA is biased and so on.
The National Commission for Civic Education came on board and said it was going to, and your party at the time said you were not going to go.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
If you're an incumbent president who doesn't go for debates, it's almost like you're afraid of the battle, isn't it?
Well, we were also an opposition candidate and we didn't go for a debate and we won. So what tells you is that the Ghanaian people know what is happening in their lives. President Kufuor used to put it in 2000 as that is what is relevant for the Ghanaian people. If it's just English, talk is cheap. Come and string words together and go. That doesn't impact the lives of people. If I come and I stand at the debate,
academic.
Yes.
Debates are an intellectual academic masterpiece that you shouldn't be ruling out.
But yes, they are just academic. That's what I'm saying. But in academia, I can sit there and tell you all the doctrines of jurisprudence and this and that and that. But at the end of the day, somebody will come and listen to that lecture and say, and when he gets back to the hall, then he's confronted, he will realize that jurisprudence won't feed him. So the point I'm making is that if we stand on the podium and then we talk highfalutin language, high-sounding nothings, and so on. And then the people go back to their miserable lifestyle. What will be the purpose of the debate? Resolve the challenges that face the people on the ground. In any event, in 2016, and I told you that before when you interviewed me on Eyewitness News, that the Ghanaian people gave their verdict as to who did well and who didn't do well in 2016. I think that was a correct verdict. Let us wait for December 7 for them to give their verdict. They gave that verdict without a face-to-face debate between anybody and anybody. And so in the same way, they would be able to give their verdict. The jury is already out there. Go to Facebook and see the debate is ongoing. It's happening all over the place. I'm not sure that people coming back to come and regurgitate what is already existing makes any even
It's stimulating to democracy. It's nice. Did you not watch the Trump and Biden fight?
I know.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, for whatever it is worth. But what I'm saying is that in the Western world, they still talk about pro-poor, pro-choice, this, that, green, this, that. In Africa, we are still talking about bread and butter issues in Africa. People don't have food to eat, and you are going to stand there and debate what?
Is this campaign particularly difficult because of COVID? Do you miss rallies? Do you think rallies would have done better than what you are doing, or this would be a better mechanism moving forward?
Well, everything is double-edged. There's the advantage part of it and the disadvantage part of it. The disadvantage part of it, first of all, is that, the crowds normally give you a certain sense of how well you are doing or how well you are not doing in certain areas, in how people come out and respond to you. So now you don't have that barometer to be able to make a judgment. That's the disadvantage of it. Number two is that the crowds also give you,
they charge you
a psychological booster, and gives you the certain confidence. That one is eliminated. But the advantage of it is that now we are having to do what my good friend, the guy who contested MPP youth organizer and lost, Dominic Edua.
The job day ground.
The job day ground, was his slogan. So now we are having to go back to the ground, the door-to-door campaigning, talking to people.
So it's practical.
Yes. So
if the person speaks to you or comes out to you, that's voluntary, and then you have a better way to judge him.
Exactly. Than if he stands on, and more often than not, quite frankly, many rallies are actually
bus people.
No, apart from even the bus, they are your people anyway.
Yeah.
You are mostly preaching to the converted.
Okay.
Because people who don't like you would hardly even.
But if you drive through a community and watch people come out of their windows to wave at you, that's
natural.
Let me ask you this thing that has been bothering me: chiefs taking part in partisan politics. We have been told by law they shouldn't do it. The Ochihini has endorsed Nana Akufo-Addo, former of Nana. There's a chief in the Bono region who also endorsed John Mahama. Do you think we are being hypocritical?
I guess it's because of the crafting of the law. The law, per the spirit of its interpretation, basically mean that you cannot don party colors and say, I'm standing for member of parliament for MPP in this area. You cannot run for political office, you cannot be party chairman and be chief and so on. But I guess people then think that, okay, Sadia, I haven't come to say that I'm chairman or I'm this, but I'm saying that I'm a development chief. Part of my responsibility as chief is to seek development for my people. So if I tell my people that, in my opinion, this party has provided better development for my community than this, then it is not flouting the law. So which is why they say those things. So you cannot strictly interpret it as participation in politics, because participation, per the interpretation that we give it, means actively occupying a position.
We need to go, but I want you to speak to your Zango people and tell them why formal for Nana is necessary.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Mutane na yan Zango na muku hankuri shekaran ga ku jefa ma Akufo-Addo kuriya saboda Zango Development Ministry da Zango Development Fund ababen da ku da kanku cikin zangonninku kun gani aikin da aka yi muku, sukuren da muka gina muku, training da muka baku, aba bay ba high and the bash na chickens and one ninda muka zo muka baku astrotef parks and the muka baku aba bay duka and the muka yi Mumfara kenan Chinese say sunche a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. We have started the step in developing the Zongo communities. If we continue in that journey, I believe that in the next 20-30 years we shall be able to transform all of our over 3,000 Zongo communities, and that is why you should vote for President Akufo-Addo. We
may not be fair to the other part of your ministry, which is the inner city.
Inner city.
Do you speak Ga?
No, that's the problem.
What other languages do you speak?
I just speak Ga, Twi, Dagbani, Mampuli.
No, you speak Ga.
No, I said Twi is what I speak.
Okay, do you speak Dagbani, you speak Mampuli?
I speak Mampuli and Hausa.
Do you have inner cities in Dagbon?
No, most of the inner cities are in Western Central.
So Twi would work.
So Twi would work.
Okay, I'll give you another minute for that.
Okay. And
I'll give you an invoice later.
Of course.
Okay.
Yewo inner city, Choko, Osu, say ne munim no mabama so aye, me ne mo abekasa. Ne oma mo say menyama mo ni bia no, ye guso eye. Inti me pa mo chaw momfa enan emfa ntoa so ma Akufo-Addo na ye ba ya san ye bi atoa so. Ne da mo ase. Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Abdulhamid, thank you for speaking to us on Face to Face. I'm grateful to you. And that'll be for our show today on Face to Face. Thank you for watching. Face to Face will be back again next week on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. Stay with us. It's your world.